Hello and welcome to The One Show with Matt Baker.
And subbing for Alex, who we have insisted take the day off to rehearse for Strictly, it's Anita Rani. Now then, Anita, do you think we should explain why we're wearing this bizarre, very interesting jumper?
Why wouldn't we? Apart from the fact that it's incredibly fashionable, when you've got the undisputed king of the jumpers as your guest, you want to make a good impression. It's John Craven.
How you doing? What do you think of this, John?
What do you think?
I've never worn anything like that.
Have you not got one of these in your collection?
No, never.
A double header.
In fact, mine were all quite subdued, really. I think all the fuss about me and jumpers was because I was the very first television newsreader anywhere in the world not to wear a suit. You know, I wore a jumper. I didn't sit behind a desk. I perched in front of it, wearing casual clothes.
Yeah, and was that a conscious decision to go for the jumper?
Yeah, because I didn't want children who just got home from school and flopping in front of the telly to think they were back at school again, listening to a teacher. So we were as casual as possible.
Very good. Now, there is this myth on Country Farm, John, that you have a vault of jumpers, a collection of jumpers, a rainbow of jumpers.
Do they
and
drop
you slide
down?
it back and they're all there, colour-coded.
Well, it's not really true. It's not really true, no. Obviously, I mean, I managed to go through all my TV career without having to wear a suit. It's been jumpers all the way.
Yeah.
But now they're much more, refined, country type.
You look good.
Indeed.
Now, John's jumpers may be legendary, but we know there's lots more out there.
Yes, so if you are the owner of an interesting jumper, then please send us a photo of you wearing it, and we will let the king of jumpers himself pick his favourite at the end. Do you want for that, John?
Okay,
yes, definitely. We'll also be talking to John about a new documentary that celebrates his remarkable 40 years in television.
Yes, I feel ridiculous presenting
No,
this thing,
I'm quite enjoying it.
Get off.
Yeah, we'll in a second. Yeah. Now, as John has been presenting Country Farm for over 20 years, he's seen firsthand the peaks and at the moment the troughs that dairy farmers are going through.
In these tough times, many farmers have been looking for alternative forms of revenue. One of these is selling unpasteurised or raw milk, but not everyone wants to have it on their cereal.
Oh, a cliffhanger.
Did I? Didn't I?
Did you?
Well, before I tell you, that was my country piece. Can I join the Country File gang now? Seeing as you're a country policy.
Well, you did all right then, didn't you, John?
I did actually drink milk. I tasted it.
Yeah.
I mean, I have tried it before as a child in India. I drank raw buffalo's milk because in rural India it's quite common. So I tasted it. Very creamy.
Yeah.
Creamy.
Yeah.
You must have drunk it yourself.
Well, I've tasted it, but I prefer not to drink it on a regular basis because I think you are taking a risk. I mean, if you pasteurize milk, that zaps out all the bugs, so it's dead safe. But raw milk is not dead safe.
Well, I was raised on it.
Yeah.
It didn't. Well, I say it didn't do me any harm. I don't know. But no, goat's milk. Goat's milk was our thing. But my sister, they have a dairy farm, and we dip the jug in all the time and drink it. So.
There were
It
only,
comes from, don't you?
Well, that's the thing. I think when
Yeah.
when they're your animals, and
there are only about 100 farms, just over 100 farms in the country that produce raw milk, which is a lot fewer than there were quite a few years back, and they are kind of looked into, and every 6 months checks are done, but again, some people want to drink it, some
It
people
has
don't.
turned into Country Farmers. We are now doing a live version of Country
And I'll tell you, the farmers are telling me that they now sell them in kind of lots of these new farmers markets in London, in very kind of affluent areas where people who want to drink organic then kind of have the choice, and it's about choices.
But there is concern now that more and more bugs are getting into farm animals, and that we're passed on in milk. There you are.
Now, before Country File, John was the man who first brought the news to our nation's children on Newsround.
It's about to celebrate its 40th anniversary. Lucy Siegel tells the story of how John's baby grew up.
That phone on your desk, and who was on the other end of it?
The trim phone, yeah. Well, we wanted to be up to date, they just kind of phoned out, but it didn't actually work. It wasn't connected to anything. But if something went wrong, I have my little earpiece in anyway, and I'd hear from the director in the gallery, but I'd pick the phone up so I could actually talk to somebody, and I looked a bit daft just talking to myself, as it were. I picked the phone up to talk to them, and it did happen sometimes.
Did it?
Did it?
Yeah, in the very early days, we had a lot of trouble with videotape not being ready in time because we weren't used to putting a news show together. So I'd hear, in my earpiece, I'd hear the director say, "Are you ready, videotape?" And if you heard, that meant the videotape was ready. If you heard, it meant the videotape was not ready. So I had to sort of keep on the phone and chat away until it was ready,
And do you miss those days?
Oh, yeah. They were sort of wonderful days. I did about 3,000 news rounds.
And I mean, you would fight for some certain stories. The newsroom would ring up and try and get bulletins in before it went out.
Yeah, I mean, don't forget that in the early days, for the first 8 or so years of news round, we were the first television news bulletin of the day.
Right.
And so some of the guys in the newsroom, if a big story broke, you know, they'd want to put a news flash in front of Newsran. And I said, well, that will destroy all my credibility. So eventually we reached a compromise where Newsran would break the story, but a BBC correspondent would then take over from me during the programme to explain more details about it.
And are there any stories that you're particularly proud of?
Well, there are so many, actually. So very many. And what I was really proud of was that the very best of the BBC correspondents, you know, John Humphreys, Martin Bell, Michael Burke, people like that, were only too happy to do things for Newsran. And in fact, Martin Bell was very surprised once. I asked him to do a piece for us in Vietnam about what it's like to be a small child in a village with, you know, the war going on all around. And he eventually got round to doing me a piece, and it was wonderful, very simple, easy to understand. And I think to Martin's great surprise, it was shown unchanged on the 9 o'clock news as well.
And Trevor McDonald's always claimed the and finallys, but it was you, wasn't it?
Well, yes. I think it was, wasn't it? Yeah.
You think so?
I think so, yeah. Because I always wanted to end on...
Oh.
Go on, you want to land on it very quickly? I'll just...
Is it working?
Let's find out. Hello? Yeah, no, he's doing really well. He's doing really well. We've got to move on, John. Deal or no deal?
Okay. I was halfway through.
He's halfway through his story. We'll let him finish, but we'll wrap up as quickly as we can. Yes. Good. But no, you did. So it was
we did it first, because I always wanted to end on a cheerful note. We might have given them some bad news during the bulletin.
Well, on that note, it is very cheerful, and we will have to stop, otherwise the producer will go on.
Exactly.
Okay.
Now, if you're fed up with turkey for Christmas dinner every year, the aptly named angler Jeremy Wade, think about it, has an alternative for you.
Christmas is a time when most of us overindulge.
On the Craven Christmas table this year?
It's certainly awful cut, very sharp taste. I throw it back again, straight away.
Okay, and now on Christmas Eve there's a documentary coming on celebrating 40 years of your TV career.
I can't believe that.
Were you consulted as to what you'd have in there?
No.
No? Well, hopefully it'll be a nice surprise. So what would you
I think it's going to be a bit like a Christmas present. You know, I could open it on Christmas Eve and hope for some nice surprises in it. But I've been interviewed for it and things, but I don't know what's going to be in.
But what would you put in there? What highlights of your career?
Well, I don't know. John Culshaw does quite a good, awful cut, very sharp taste. I throw it back again, straight away.
Okay, and now on Christmas Eve there's a documentary coming on celebrating 40 years of your TV career.
I can't believe it.
Were you consulted as to what you'd have in there?
No.
No? Well, hopefully it'll be a nice surprise. So what would you
I think it's going to be a bit like a Christmas present. You know, I could open it on Christmas Eve and hope for some nice surprises in it. But I've been interviewed for it and things, but I don't know what's going to be in.
But what would you put in there? What highlights of your career?
Well, I don't know. John Culshaw does quite a good take of me. I bet he's going to be in there.
It's funny you should mention that, because he does do a very good take. Have a look.
All right.
Hello again, and on the special 20th anniversary of Country File, what better way to surprise John Craven than with another John Craven?
John!
John Craven wants to find out more.
Hello, John.
Do you think he sounds like you?
I do. And I was in Oxford Circus tube station a few months ago, and at the tap of my shoulder, and I looked around John Culshaw, and he said, the last time I saw you, I was you.
Brilliant. Now, John, seeing as we've got you here, alongside Matt, the two Country File greats, we thought we've got to have a quiz. We're going to pit you both head-to-head for the pride of Country File and Isn't she a beauty? Okay, so can I please have, put her down without breaking it, 60 seconds on the clock, please.
Oh, this is...
Okay, all the answers are from the Country File handbook, which, John, you wrote, so no pressure. Okay. All right, John, what is the difference between a village and a hamlet?
A village has to have a church.
Correct. Right? Matt, what is the name? He's so stressed. What is the name many in the countryside give to the first Sunday after the 12th day of Christmas? Gotta rush you.
It's the start of the farming calendar year. So
come on. You don't know it.
Tools out and not working.
No, sorry, it's plough day. John, what is the modern definition of mutton?
It's a lamb that's over 2 years old, is it?
Correct. Yes, that's absolutely right. Matt, what is unusual about biodynamic farming?
You use phases of the moon.
Correct. Very good. Yes. John. Before the size of an acre was fixed, how was it first measured?
It was how much a man with an ox could plough in a day.
Correct. Very good. Matt,
come on.
what is the name for a group of turkeys?
Is it a rafter?
Yes!
Yes!
Brilliant. And you were so close with Plough Day, but you know.
Yeah. It's the start of the farming calendar, though.
But, yeah, no,
that's what it is.
It's called Plough Day.
Can I just inquiry?
Can I just say, Matt is so competitive. He's been stressing about this all afternoon. But look, you're still the young pup.
Right.
You've got the master sitting here. So, John,
that's great. That's great.
And I did write the book.
Congratulations. There you go. You did write the book.
Well, thank you very much.
Lovely.
Now you can see the John Craven years on Christmas Eve at 7 p.m. on BBC Two, and remember, Countryfile is on Sunday.
Yes. Now, in the John Craven tradition, would you do us a favour, John? Straight down camera 4, just say, and finally.
And finally.
These days, cataracts are relatively easy to fix, but the British surgeon who invented the procedure back in the 1950s found it hard to convince colleagues it was safe.
Dr. Mark Porter explains how they came to see the error of their ways.
And knitted by Stuart Ward from Penarth, shows the entire Welsh alphabet.
Brilliant.
Unbelievable. John, pick a winner.
That's
you gone for that
one? Yeah.
That's your favourite.
Yeah,
you have that one. Speaking of picking a winner, you picked the winner in the Countryfile calendar.
Yeah.
Doing very well at the moment.
Today's latest figure, £900,000.
There we go. Well, before we go, so many of you asked John and I what the weather has got in store for the week ahead. The Met Office have issued a red weather warning, storm force winds of 80 miles per hour in central and southern Scotland tomorrow. So please check the latest forecasts.
Thanks, John, for joining us. It's been a pleasure to have you on. The John Craven Years is on Christmas Eve at 7 p.m. on BBC Two.
Yes, tomorrow Alex and I will be trying to get a word in edgeways with Peter Kay. See you at 7. Bye-bye. Thanks again.